Hello, I'm Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper. Good morning to you. We are here to talk about some things. I love it when you email me. Thank you so much for the many emails that I'm getting and the questions I'm getting that you are asking. And the question is, why does the narcissist abandon you at the worst time of your life when he's supposed to care about you? He's supposed to love you. Hello there, Minister Tomorrow. How are you? Thank you for being on my YouTube channel. The question that I want to answer is a very good question, a very prevalent question, but I want to begin with telling you that the narcissist does not love. The narcissist mirror all the emotions that they express to you because the narcissist, because of trauma, maybe in their childhood, or other issues has shut down emotionally. So the love that you think you're feeling from the narcissist, you're not feeling from the narcissist. And the truth of it is what you are feeling is what the narcissist has mirrored from other people or yourself. And so you're asking, why does the narcissist abandon at the most inopportune time? Why does he leave me? Hello, Red. How are you? And we have uh, tomorrow Grayson that is on with us. So good morning to you. And we're answering the questions and you can elaborate with me. They want to know, why does the narcissist abandon you at the most inopportune time in your life when you're going through trauma, you're going through torment? They seem to abandon you. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Well, and you said that if the narcissist loved me, why would he abandon me? Well, the narcissist doesn't love. Narcissist doesn't love. The love they give to you, the love bombing they give to you, is the emotion that they have mirrored from others. Remember, the narcissist are on the shutdown system. That's why many of you say, how come the narcissist is so happy? Because they're doing so well. Well, happiness is an emotion, and the narcissist isn't happy because he's not emotional. So that mirror aspect, what it does is it let him know what it mirroring aspect of the emotion that he should demonstrate. And he demonstrate that emotion. When you're trying to make somebody jealous, you make sure you look happy. If you're trying to torment someone, you make sure you look happy. And so they got that mirroring for somebody doing the expression who expressed that. So now, just like a computer, you put information in the computer, you ask the question, the computer does not feel, but it's loaded with information. The narcissist is loaded with information, loaded with the things that he has mirrored. And this is why when you ask the question, why does the narcissist leave you at the most inopportune time of your life? We have tomorrow, we have Red, we have Sarah. Many of you that have been involved in narcissistic relationship, you also know that the narcissist will leave you at the most inopportune time. That is the time they can create the most pain, but they are not just recreating the pain, they discard you. But when we look at discard, most people look at discard as a permanent separation or a permanent detachment by the narcissist. But every narcissist, unless you didn't give enough fuel, every narcissist plan to revisit their supply, to revisit their target. So when they are discarding you, it's not that they're leaving you. They are further traumatizing you, setting you up. So when they hoover you, you're ready for them to come back. You're hungry for them to come back. And so when the narcissist leave you when you are having some kind of stressful moment, a father dies, a mother dies, or you lose your job, or you just got bad news concerning a health issue, the narcissist leaves. And he leaves because this is a time that he can trauma bond, or she can trauma bond. And trauma bonding is when you get trauma and they done took you through a series of trauma, because you got to remember, when the narcissists have you, you are in a training boot camp. They are training you. That's why they usually ask you to be at a certain place at a certain time, and they call you, and you are not at that place. They're angry because you're breaking the training. Training is a module, several modules of repetition, like teaching. Teaching is repetition. So when you're training the mind, you need the mind to kick into gear at the same time, at the same place, doing the same thing. Because when you get into trauma bonding, you want to redirect thoughts, you want to enable memory, you want to download smells, sounds, touches, environments. That's what the narcissist does. The narcissist actually want to train your mind. She said, my narc left me and our daughter, who is 4 months. He is trying to flaunt his other kid's mom. He stabbed him up a week. She stabbed him up a week ago. Thank God he's alive. But wow, I was shocked. Wow, that he must be a lower narcissist, really violent. Nor narcissist to the upper mid-range narcissist. She said, yep, my dearest friend, dying from burn injuries over many, many, many months. Oh, she said, I'm well, thanks for asking. And how are you? Everybody is greeting one another. You know, a narcissist, when you're going through, the narcissist need that negative fuel. He need that pain. Because remember, when he trauma bond, the trauma bond is going to set you up for hoovering. So when the trauma bonding come, it's when you know you got to let him go, but you can't let him go. You keep holding on to something that you know is no good. You know it's not going to change. Your family asking you why you leaving. Why don't you leave? You're asking yourself, why don't you leave? And you end up staying. You keep promising yourself, I'm going to leave him, I'm not staying. I'm going to leave him, I'm not staying. And you end up staying. You end up giving more and more and more fuel until you're almost devastated. And Sarah says, mine was so bad, I started mirroring him. He left me in a place and he thought I would stay. And I came home and now have to start over. You start to mirror the narcissist. The only person that will mirror a narcissist is an empath, and that's usually that's effective is the super empath. And when the super empath goes supernova, it's because they have been broken down so much until they release a defense system for survival. And so other than that, if you just a regular person, you never ever mirror a narcissist because you're better than that. What drew the narcissist to you was not their own attributes. What drew them to you is that you were different. They saw the good in you. They saw the generosity in you. They saw that you were a person of honor, a person of integrity, because what draws the narcissist is everything that they are not. And there has to be a door opening. If the narcissist think that you're going to cause a narcissistic wound, they will not come. They will not even deal with you. And Monique said, the woman he left me for stabbed him up. Oh my God. He's probably triangulating on her. He left you for her, but he's dealing with someone with her, and she probably found out about it. My son's father left when I was 5 months pregnant. Wow. She said, got out of bed one morning and said, get an abortion and get pregnant by someone else. I don't want no more kids. Wow. Now does that sound like somebody who love you? And then Red said, I was quiet for the rest of my pregnancy. And a week after I had my baby, I went supernova. My sister was so worried about me during my pregnancy because I got real quiet and I stopped talking. And you know what? That is a silent treatment. The narcissists go through the silent treatment when they are trauma bonding, or they go silent treatment when they go to the stranger zone. The stranger zone is when they're reserving energy. They're getting ready to triangulate, and it's taking so much energy, or they're getting ready to devalue you. Devaluing take a lot of energy. You got to remember the narcissist constantly need energy because he's constantly using energy. He's constantly triangulating. Now, if you were going through circumstances, someone died in your family, there's a sickness in your family, you failed the bar, or you didn't make the cut, or the job suspended you because they are cutting back. And so they gave you a pink slip, and the narcissist leave at that time. The narcissist is well aware of the circumstances. You got to remember, your pain give more fuel to the narcissist than when they're love bombing, because when they're love bombing you, they're giving out fuel. And this is why sometimes they take a respite period. Hello there, earth harvester. When they're taking a earth rest period, because it takes time, it takes a lot of energy to love bomb. Just think, when you were being love bombed, the time they spent, hours they spent, days they spent. If they were with you, they spent so much time with you, took you to restaurants, brought you gifts, took you to trips, loved on you, made sure they made love to you. And it wasn't love, it was sex. They made sure they had sex with you, because sex is the greatest soul tie, and it's the greatest amount of fuel that can be expended in those moments. So he's doing all of that. That take a lot of energy, a lot of fuel. So when you have trauma and you have tragedy, your expectancy goes to the narcissist, because you are really expecting for them to be there. Hello, James, how are you? He said, I found myself looking at Facebook today, and I was thinking about her on her birthday. I saw her party picture videos, and I start feeling bad, but I need to build my strength. Yes, you do, James. How long have you been away from her? How long have you been away from her? She said, I remember going to the doctor and telling her I needed something because I am having thoughts. And she asked me if I was going to harm my baby. And I said, no, I'm going to kill that man. And Sarah says, here, she said, I haven't really cried about it. Because no marriage was real to him. He wanted fuel, and I shut down and gave him nothing. And when you do that to a narcissist, they're gone, because they're fuel oriented. No fuel, no relationship. And when you give fuel, they don't love you, but they'll stay there till they triangulate someone else. But when there's no fuel, they are out. They're gone. They're like vampires without blood. They cannot stay at a place that will not fuel them. And really, to get rid of them, you shut down the fuel. You can shut down the relationship. God bless you too, Wanda. How are you? She said, and he was so mean and had no emotion. Absolutely, he was a narcissist. Okay, you've been gone for 6 months. Okay, that's how long were you with the narcissist? James, how long were you with her? Good morning. This is Annette from Central North Carolina. Hello, Annette. How are you? And James said, but that pool is still there. Yes, it is 1 year. Okay. When you are trauma bonded, these are hormones that are released in your body. These hormones are off the chain. They are not at a regular level. When you are with a narcissist, the same hormone that gets you addicted to crack and crack cocaine, that is surging through your body. You're on adrenaline, because after being with them, you just don't know what's going to happen, what to expect. And the narcissist is always coming up with something. They're lying about things. They're gaslighting. They word salad. They just cause confusion. They're devaluing, discarding, coming back, hoovering, love bombing. So they keep this cycle up, and they make sure confusion is there. Hello, Shake the Foundation. How are you? They make sure that confusion is there. This is why that pull is a magnetic pull, but you got a soul tie, and you got to go to, when you are cleansing the soul, you have to go to the root of the soul. If you're with them a year, you're not going to be with them over a week. Now, 6 months into your cure, Are you doing this on your own, James, or do you have some assistance? Are you doing this on your own or do you have some assistance? The reason the narcissist cannot be there and will not be there when you go through traumatized situation is they're using that negative fuel. And when you argue with them, they use challenge fuel. And when they leave you, they use thought fuel. Do you know a person passing by a narcissist, speaking to a narcissist when they are fuel droughted? They will use that high. They will use giving a cup of coffee. They will use going to a restaurant as fuel. We use it as kindness. They use it as fuel. She said, I have a lot of support within family and friends. Okay. Are you, do you know about Dr. Carmen Bryan? Do you know, James, about Dr. Carmen Bryan? Dr. Carmen Bryan. Do you know about her? She's also on Periscope, but she's my daughter and she is a professional therapist. Dr. Carmen Bryan. Do you know about her? Yes or no, James? Because it's going to take time. He said, I watched her. I watch her every day. Good. The information she give on a professional basis can start peeling away at the soul. The information I give peels away at the soul and the spirit. And so we are getting your total man. And what needs to happen is the more you feed yourself with knowledge and information, the more illumination or epiphanies you have concerning the situation. When you have an epiphany, it opens your spirit, it enlightens your spirit. The Bible said the interest of thy word giveth light. The light of God's word will give you liberty and freedom. And with every entryway of freedom, it peels away darkness. With all peeling away of darkness is heading you more to freedom, is heading you more to liberation. So you keep doing what you're doing and you'll be liberal, but you can't be going on her site. You can't be looking after her. You gotta, when you want to go on her site, don't go on her Facebook, Instagram, none of that. You can't answer any calls and you can't call. Don't text her. You have to go to a no contact zone to properly heal, because until you go no contact, James, you're not going to heal. You're not going to heal. The pull is too strong. And you got to remember, every time you reattach, it stirs up all of those hormones again. It stirs up all of those emotions. And anything you leave and you go back to, it intensifies. So every time you leave her and go back, it intensified. It's not the same pull. The pull will intensify. You've been gone away from her for 6 months. That's nothing if you keep looking up on her website, if you keep going on her Instagram. You're going to have a greater pull, believe it or not, than being with her for that 1 year. And they said, I've been gone for a year and I'm still trying to get him out of my mind. She said, I moved my daughter and I a year ago. And have been doing very well, but trying to keep him out of my head. I know. James, is horrible. She said, I feel for you. I went from a happy person to a panic attack in 18 months. My God. She said, no, James, don't look, don't call. I know it's hard to do. Absolutely. You got to go no contact. He said, thanks. I have lost a part of myself. I am much better. I am not suicidal anymore. And you are doing great, but you can do even better. James, if you go no contact, every time you want to call her, occupy yourself with something different. Every time you want to text her, occupy yourself with something different. When you want to look through the internet, because I think if you go on like Instagram, sometimes they can even know that you've been there. They can even know that you've been there. So you're going to have to go to a no contact zone, and it's going to take a little bit harder work. It's been 6 months. So 6 months, you still got that pull. That means that you're going to have to work a little bit harder. And coming on these Periscope, on these YouTube sites, when we got other people on here who have been through it, and James, they've been out for 5 years. They've been out for 3 years, and they can encourage you and strengthen you and let you know that you can do it. and that you can make it. And Wanda said, off and on with my anti-social or narcissistic husband for 3 years, and I know I'm trauma bonded. She says, horrible how controlling and manipulative he is. Praying for liberation. And see, that's the wisdom of God is what's going to come into play, because God will strengthen you. The Bible said the interest of thy word giving life. Why would God say the interest of his word? Because hearing the word don't mean it enter, because your ground can be so hard, because sometimes the narcissist does so much damage. If you don't watch yourself, you're angry. You're angry with them. You're mad, like Susan said. Her whole life changed once she got with once you're with a narcissist, your life will never, ever, ever be the same. Having a regular life, that is out. With a narcissist, you're going to have to formulate new habits. You're going to have to formulate a new training of your mind, because your mind, that narcissist train your mind to come to him. Like when you call a dog and that dog is used to your voice because you're the master, the dog come running, your mind come running at the thoughts or the frequency, those magnetic pulls on the mind, those waves go into their mind, and that is a pull. And this is why the narcissist could be going through something and you will pick up on them, or when you can tell when the narcissist is thinking about you, because you got all of these pulls on you, you got all of these thoughts concerning you, you're really thinking about them, and it's just going and you can't get rid of them. 9 times out of 10, you're getting ready to be hoovered. uh, she said, and Mark, hello, Mark, how are you? I pray that you're doing very, very, very well today. Ooh, Red, where are you? You're really quiet today. Red is usually rolling by now. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time for you to get those frequencies out of your mind, get that wave out of your mind. Those frequency, if you can see in the spirit, is like having a cap on it. All of these little electrical currents are going through you, but then there's a tube going from that to his mind. That soul tie that constantly pull you. That's why a narcissist, they're quick in their relationship. They're quick to tell you they love you there, and they quick to tell you how much you mean, because they want you in bed quick. They want that bed fellowship because they need that soul tie. She said, you are a tree of life. Well, I pray that I'm always that to you. She's okay. You agree in each other. But my main focus was answering a question of a young lady who said, why does my narcissist leave me at the most inopportune times? You know, I saw something on Facebook, on YouTube, that almost floored me. And this was a woman on YouTube actually telling you how to get the narcissist back. And I'm thinking, who wants the narcissist back? Who wants to go through that trauma? Who wants to go through that pain? Who wants to go through that torment? Now, this person said how to get them back. They are announcing that they are trauma bonded, because nobody knows that having a narcissist is for the good or for the betterment. It is not. She's trauma bond, and she's making an announcement, and she don't know she's the flying monkey for the narcissist. She's recruiting for the narcissist. She's an enabler for the narcissist. She's giving way for the narcissist. So never listen to stuff like that. It is crazy. You know, who wants the narcissist back? You're trying to heal over this stuff. And then I got a young lady saying, why he leave me at the most inopportune time, when I'm hurting, when my family died, when I'm stressed out, when I lost my job. He's nowhere to be found. And one to say, yes, I get panic attacks when he is thinking about me or about to hoover. See, that's fear, princess. That is fear. God is not giving you the spirit of fear, the spirit of fear. You know, when you got an emotional alertness that is trying to alert you that something is not right, and a spirit of fear is a paralyzing zone. It takes and it knocks you out and gets you to the point where you cannot move, you cannot strive, you cannot accomplish, you cannot succeed. And so what you got to do is overthrow those panic attacks by bringing that panic to peace. Jesus said that he is the Prince of Peace, and the Bible said the peace of God that surpasses all understanding. You won't understand it. Don't try to comprehend it. It's past your understanding. So it's able to captivate you in every realm of severity that you go and experience pain, trauma, and extremity because of any situation that does not do you good. And James said, going through what I did, I identified another narcissist when I started dating. I ran away when she gaslighted me for having a different opinion. Oh, see, you're very smart. And see, until you heal, you're going to keep drawing the narc. Yeah, after the narc, I am extremely careful what I let my eye gate. Oh, yeah, my ear gate, eye gate, and protect all of my gates. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one thing they will do. They will make you a little more careful. And I don't really like that word because dealing with emotion, people take care. And people say, take care. I don't let people tell me take care. I'm not going to take care. I'm going to cast my care. I'm going to take wisdom. And so you're very careful with what you allow in your ear and your eye gate and your mind gate, and even the stimulus of your desires. Like I think those James was saying that she still got that pull on me. You got to bring your desires in submission. You do. She said, once bitten, twice shy. That's good. But I'm going to tell you something. The narcissist that is with you will not be there in important moments. Your child having a graduation, they will tell you they're going to be there to build your expectancy up. And then the very last minute, they'll call and tell you something happened. And when you get disappointed, boom, that's fuel. I mean, maximum amount of fuel, because they know you're gravely disappointed. Or if you have a family member that has died, and then you tell them my dad died, you know, you looking for comfort, they are just blank. They are just in a stranger zone. The stranger zone is when the narcissist shut down like an android. They're neutral. They don't show hate. They don't show that they are glad over anything. They don't show anything. They just totally neutral because they're reserving and preserving energy. Because a narcissist, unless he get a good supply, there's time when they don't have a good supply and they have to reserve the energy they have. Well, when you give this news to the narcissist, and it's horrible news, they go to thought fuel. They may not can even see you, but the thought fuel, when they imagine how disappointed you are, how angry you are, because you expected them to be there like a good boyfriend, a good fiance, even a husband would go through these changes. Some of you that were married to the narcissist, you know, they take you through all of the gaslighting, the evaluation, discard, silent treatment, ghosting. They do all of that in your house, and then they come back and hoover you. And Sarah said, mine wanted to spend money on bills. Mine wanted to spend money on bills and wanted to spend on his music equipment and only talk about money and himself. He said he's leaving me because he wants to follow this dream of making music. Oh, wow. And she said, my ex-narcissist left before I had my special needs son because he knew I was going to be out of work and he didn't want the responsibility of stepping up. Now, the special needs son, is that his son? Is that his son? And Susan said, any grief and love for another, a bereavement, they are gone. They don't care. Absolutely. And Red said, I have learned to be aware of my facial expression and body language, and I am not so quick to be welcoming to people. She said, I'm still kind, but now I pay attention to how I feel around people first. Yeah, they will have you on a reserve system. She said, I was with my husband 8 years, and I've learned so much this past year. He really showed how much he doesn't like my daughter because of the love she shows me. Yeah, they're very jealous heart. The Bible said jealousy is cruel as the grave. Yes, it's his son, and we share another son together. See, and it's unfortunate. Narcissists are self-centered, but most of the times when you get in a relationship, you don't even know that you're in this type relationship. You just know that you met this person, their love bombing is off the chain, and you are in love. And it was a quick love. And if you notice, even with 8 years, it's a cycle. You go through this cycle, even being married. You know, you go through the gaslighting, you go through the lies, you go through the manipulation, you go through the torment, you go through being hoovered, then they come back, you go through devaluation, you go through the discard. And remember, discard is a disconnect, and they do not permanently disconnect because they're planning to come back for the hoover. And once the narcissist, once you engage with them, they think you belong to them. So most narcissists believe you have to die out of their relationship. So they'll come back after 6 months, they'll come back after 5 years, because after all, they look at you as property. She said, because they take it for weakness, absolutely. And Sarah said, mine was the same way with my daughter. He always found a way to devalue her and me, anything you care for. She's all red. I used to be so open to people. I can see the change in my face, my attitude. I hate carrying that sadness, but you got to work on that, because if you do that, they win. They win. Don't let them change what you know. And Red, empath, no, the empath don't have to be concerned. An empath will know whether you lying or you being fake with your emotion. An empath, no, you just have to trust your feelings. It's just that sometimes a narcissist can turn their feelings off until you can't pick them up. It's like discerning a wall. There's nothing there. And Red said, do you think the influx of narcs today is because we are now aware, because of the government, Hollywood, the church, education system, medical system is bombarded with these beings? You know what? I do think that. I think they was always there. But remember, Red, the Bible said, because the love of many waxed cold, because because of sin, the love of many will wax cold. And when you look up that word wax and cold, it means that they will be on a down vow, that they will no longer be able to spring these emotions up, that these emotions have been sealed off. And to get into that, you have to break a seal, and they become one with that seal. They grow up with that seal. They live with that seal until the seal become who they are. They don't know any other emotion, and they see people laughing, they see people talking, and they're wondering, before they realize that they are narcissists, they start training their mind how to laugh, how to smile. If you see some narcissists taking a picture, you know, they learn how to smile, but sometimes they got this little fake smile, like it's really taking effort for them to smile. I do think that, Red, I really, really, really do, especially in this regime, that because we are aware that we are able to identify them more. But I believe because people get away from God and they sin, and sin makes the heart just lock. It locks the heart into darkness, because it takes so much to do, and it takes so much fight to overcome. I really believe that you're absolutely right. She said, when I met him, he appeared to be a good father to his daughter, who he treats like a golden child. He treats me and my son like trash, but he treats his daughter and her mom like trophies. Yeah, that's all what you see. Because you got to remember, narcissists is in the system. They're cycle and they're repetitive. They don't have nothing new. If it's new, it's a new con, a new game, a new manipulation, but there's nothing new. And if he got them like trophy, that's because he loved bombing them, and he may be using them as a primary supply source. But in that daughter, if he loved bombing that daughter, because a lot of narcissists believe in incest because it's an extension of themselves, or it's an extension of the primary supply. So they will protect that specimen until it is ready to be broke open. James said, I didn't realize I was empathetic. Over the years, I have struggled dealing with people because I sense most people's emotions. Now I realize most of the people in my life are narcissists after that. That's probably why. Empaths and narcissists are like hand in glove. Narcissists love empaths, and empaths are drawn to narcissists. Empaths are drawn to abuse because they always trying to rescue people, help people, and they end up with a narc. You don't ever underestimate a narcissist. They will take an empath and almost crush them because you are living, flowing fuel, and a super empath is loaded with fuel. And so a lot of lower ranking narcissists won't risk them and it take the greater narcissists because nobody likes to really deal with the empath when they go supernova. And the empath just don't go supernova because it takes everything out of them. When they go supernova, you have pushed them to the edge, because going supernova is like a bee losing his stinger. He dies after that. It takes so much to rejuvenate that supernova with that super empath. Once she went supernova, it take a lot to get her back in. So like Red said, it took years. She went through the pregnancy, didn't say anything to the end of the pregnancy. Then she went supernova. Why? Because the empath was protecting that child, was covering that child, so she wouldn't go supernova. But as soon as that child was born, she let loose. And I'm sure it took time to revive her. And then look at what Sarah says. She said, I had an aunt and I was raised with, and she was a narcissist, and she tormented me to her death. And I think that's why I thought it was normal at first. Absolutely. You would be drawn to what you experience. And Red said, I worked with the Orthodox Jews for 20 some years. She said, and they were satanic, but come off as chosen. She said, I used to get sick going around them. I finally quit, and that took a big chunk out of my income. Wow. And Red said, I don't even care about the money. I had to get away from them. Even, she said, they were symphony that all they were summoning the enemy. Wow, they all energy. They were siphoning your energy. You know what? A lot of Jews don't believe in Jesus Christ. You know, they're God's chosen people, but they walked away from the Messiah. That's why you got your different Messianic Jews and your Orthodox Jews. Your Orthodox Jews hang on to the old way. They don't believe in Jesus Christ. They still waiting for the Messiah to come. He's already come. So they still waiting for what has been to be. The Messianic Jews know that Jesus has come, so they serve Jesus Christ. And so I can see how that can happen, because being chosen and being ungodly, not submitted to God, doesn't mean that it's right, and you can be given over to the enemy in those cases like that. So when we was talking about the narcissist not being there because of circumstances, and he used that for fuel. Remember, your brain is being rerouted by the narcissist. Are you listening to these conversations? They are not easy to let go. When you have somebody that you love, you know, it may be hard, but you can walk away from that. The narcissist, you are walking away and you feel like you are being torn. Different things in your life is being torn, and they keep get with this rubber band. They keep pulling you back, and they'll say anything. They'll say any kind of lies, because the narcissists know that pain works. pain. And remember, they are stimulating your memory banks. So what they are doing, they don't want you to remember the graduation. They want you to remember them not showing up at the graduation. So now they have replaced the good thoughts of the graduation with the bad thoughts of not showing up. And so somebody dies, and they were at the funeral, and where you could have had ease and comfort, now you got rage and anger, because if you love me, you should have been there to support me. And they will come up with all kind of lies and excuse where that anger is fuel. And so they use that for fuel. But you got to remember, the narcissist want to train you in every area of your life. He want to train what you see. He want to train what you hear. He want to train what you smell. He want to train what you taste. He want to train what you feel. So all of your sensory, he wants to train them, but he wants to train them toward him, because the narcissist wants to be the God of your life. They want to replace every deity form in your life, and they want to be the ultimate. She said, and Susan said, James, I could see anything, and I couldn't see anything in him. I thought he was harmless and a gentleman, a big vortex, and I fell in because I was very confident and very curious. He caused you to feel very confident. Do you see how you felt very confident and very curious? Susan, that was you. He mirrored you. If we get you past this, you are a very confident person. You are a very confident person, and you are a very explorative person. Research. You love to research. You love to find things. You love to find truth. You like to research facts and compare information. So when you get information, it will be the truth and it will be factual because you have done your homework. So that looked like it belonged to the narcissist, but the truth of it is you kept seeing yourself and you start running away from him, but you kept loving what you saw in him. That's you. So what you love is Susan, and what you don't like is him. So once he stopped mirroring you, the narcissist come out, and that's where the torment comes. She said, my ex-husband created a situation at our child's wedding, couldn't even allow me the joy of that, because he's training your memory. See, now when you remember the wedding, look what you're remembering. That was intentional. Red said the narc literally uses doubt, right, to make the heart, mind, and nervous system conflict. Absolutely. And this is what we have to unravel after the discard. Absolutely. And what he does is, it's almost like a baby when the umbilical cord is wrapped around their neck. You can't breathe. He gets you into a place where there's plenty oxygen, but you can't breathe because you are holding your breath. He taught you to hold your breath. And by the time you breathe, you are so out of breath. You are fiending for air. You'll get it anyway, anyhow, because it's life now. And then when you get the air, guess what your air is? The narc. The narc becomes your life because he's trained you to hold your breath in every other situation of life, every other situation of peace, every other situation of joy. He don't want you to have it. And that's why he's not going to be there in trauma. She's not going to be there in extreme situation, because they taught you to hold your breath. And sometime after they're long gone, you don't realize you're still holding your breath. And James said, I have to admit, seeing her with someone else bother me, but my reaction doesn't put me into a deep depression. But I have to break the urge to look in on social media. I'm trying. You just keep on. See, trying is effort. Just keep the effort going, and it will manifest. One day you will be able. There's some people I've talked to, and they've been without their narcissist for 10 years. They still think about them. And then there's other people, they've gone on with their lives. She said, create a lot of memories with him, like taking pictures and going on vacations like he did with other women. She said, and I don't want no memories. Well, you're going to have those memories, because what happened is when you wipe the memories out, you wipe your mind out. You're going to have to learn to take those memories and work positive. We got something here. We have an experience and we have information that other people need. Now you can take that information and cause that information to grow by extending yourself to other people. Write down your thoughts. When you're feeling this, write down your thoughts. Take those thoughts and make paragraphs. Take those paragraphs and elongate them into a page. Take those pages and say, I'm going to write 5 pages on this thought. The next thing you know, you got a book, and people would read that book and get delivered. Bless you, Helen. Thank you. She said, I was pulled down very hard. Yes, fighting in the air. Exactly. Grasping for air. She said, I teach my client to learn deep breathing techniques because breath resets. What is that? The parasympathetic nervous system plus breathing is life, and it helps to reconnect the mind, soul, and body. You know what? The Bible said that God created Adam, and he breathed into Adam the breath of life. That's true. And breath is life, because breath oxygenate the entire body. It gives life to the blood, life to the organ, life to the bones. Nothing lives without air. And that's why a lot of times you get frustrated. Therapists, like you were saying, Red, tell you to breathe. Take 10 minutes and breathe. And they count down 10. That's why a woman, when she's having a baby, she start breathing, controlled breathing. And sometimes this controlled breathing every time you take a breath. And this is a good remedy. When you are in the recovery zone and you just think about the narcissist and you breathe, write down what you are feeling at that time that you are breathing, and then get the counteracting emotion that will cause that emotion to minimize. So if you're feeling anger, what is the opposite of that emotion while you breathe? Breathe. Write down that emotion. Write it down. The opposite, I am not angry, I'm calm. And then you will take calm. And once you write down the opposite emotion, take that word calm and make a sentence out of every letter and read it out loud. And when you read it out loud, you will read that 5 to 10 times. Breathe again. And then you'll look at anger after looking at the calm and getting all of the sentences that relates to you at that moment concerning calm. And then you will tell anger, you will not control me, because I'm not angry over a righteous reason. I'm angry because of a deadly feel. I'm angry because I feel abandoned. I'm angry because I feel dropped. Everything negative is tied into that anger, but I'm going to breathe. The breathing part is my intercession. So I'm breathing. Then I'm going back over here to the right, and I'm writing down my calming and my calming effect. And what you're going to find out, the energy from that right, absolutely read about breathing, deep breathing. It re-gears you, revives you, restarts you, rejuvenates you. And so you're re-energizing, you're resetting your mind back to positive energy. And once you do positive energy, get an assignment that you can put that positive energy in. Even if you go out, I'm going to go to Starbucks and I'm going to pay one for it. I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy somebody some, or just speak to someone, or help an old lady, or do something positive. You take that positive energy. Don't just write it, read it, recite it, and say it. Activate the principle. And Red said, good advice. Narcs project their negativity on you. Yes. So this way you turn it around and do not take it in. Thank you. Absolutely. And Red said, narcissists are dark spirits. Yes, they are. And this is what I had to keep saying to myself to get over the narc. The spirit they have comes from comes to destroy our gifts. Exactly. And it does not want your gift to come to pass. Right. They are destiny consumers. They are destiny consumers. They are there to alter your gift. They're not just there to cause you pain. They want to alter your gift. They want your soul as a trophy. I don't know whether many of you have ever seen the movie called The Predator. Have you ever, if you've seen the movie called The Predator, say me. before I go on. I told Dr. Brian about a situation. She told me I was desensitized to what was happening. She was right. My ex drank heavily and set her gun on the night table, and I was in danger, but oblivious. She's a Lord narcissist. Let me tell you something. As many people as Dr. Carmen Bryan and myself have worked with and counseled, a lower range narcissist will kill you. So when they threaten you, a lower range, not to admit, all of them are capable of murder, but the greater, the mid range and the greater, they usually get somebody to do their dirty work. Where the lower mid grade or the lower range narcissist, they do their own dirty work because they get relief when they hurt physically. They cause physical pain. They cause physical pain. And so you wouldn't believe that she will hurt you. That's why you didn't do anything about it. And it was the grace of God came in, because when she had that gun, she didn't get that gun for show. She didn't get that gun for show. And I have witnesses, narcissists telling people what they were going to do, or they'll kill an animal, or cut themselves and threaten to do something. You better listen, because they will do it. And that said, James, I tell you from experience, it's really hard not to look for them on social media. If you go complete no contact, it really helps. Just fight the urges to look. And that's what they are, urges. Okay, yes, you saw the predator shake the foundation. She said, I actually sent the narc a clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, she said, what the hell are you? See, you need a spanking, Red. You need a spanking. You know you were a bad girl. I intend to do much better and stop looking. And it's the only way. Absolutely. There is no other way. There is no way. The predator came and he only wanted the skulls. But to get the skull, he had to kill the whole man to get his skull. He wanted his skull, and he wanted them for trophies. He wanted them for trophies. The narcissist wants you as a trophy to make himself feel better. But to get your trophy, he has to distort your mind, distort your destiny, and redirect everything to the dark. And like Red was saying, it's total darkness. It's no light in them. The Bible said if they speak not according to this word, and this is Isaiah 8:20, he said that's because there's no light in them. In order to see, you got to have lights. They put the lights out so you fail to see. And if you can't see anything, you'll tolerate everything. And that's what is happening. You're tolerating more because you're seeing less. She said, I intend to do much better. Okay. And then Mark says, if they are controlled by a spirit, then why can't they as a person ever be free from those evil spirits? They don't want to. When you spell evil, EVIL, you turn it back, LIVE, it's live. They don't want to live. They like the evil. The Bible said that they won't come into the light because their deeds are evil. They are meshed or combined or co-joined with the wickedness they do, and it gives them fuel. Goodness don't give them fuel. That's why the only time you see them good is in love bombing. Everything else is negative. It's negative. They lie, they deceive, but the love bombing, they are perfect. They are perfect. And Earth Harvester say, I close my Facebook, not interested in anything related to him. Absolutely. And Mark, don't stay around to see if they are free. They are parasite from the bowels of hell. Exactly. She said they will have to want to be free. You cannot make a crackhead stop smoking. They have to want to stop. Absolutely. And blessed say, where I get frustrated is trying to put into words what has happened to me in the way that people would understand that I was tortured by a covert semantic narc. She said, I believe his toxicity rub off on my daughter. It could be. If you born again, you can bind that stuff. You can rebuke it. You can anoint her with oil and pray for her. Let the power of your love, the energy, the embrace of your love cover her. Positive energy, which is anointing, it's very, 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 very powerful. Everything about them is negative. Everything. Unfortunately, that's true. Absolutely, Red. He wanted my gift attached to him, literally had me working on a painting with him. My God, why do they attend church then? Because the devil go to church. The devil will go to church. Mark, all, she said, Mark, all about image. Absolutely. She said, narc live for their image. That's a semantic narc. He, everything is about a showboat. Let me tell you something. The Bible says Satan was the anointed cherub that covered. The anointed cherub. They'll go to church. That doesn't mean they're saved. That doesn't mean they're born again. A lot of times narcissists go to the church because church people are so giving, and they can be ignorant of a lot of things, and they give themselves. And so they take advantage of the niceness of the God's people. Because a lot of God's people won't read the Bible, so they're ignorant of the Bible. A lot of narcissists are in pulpits preaching. They're not just members, they're preaching. But you have to discern the spirit. Um, let me see here. Red said, innocent people go to church and they are praying on the innocent and sweeten. Absolutely. They want the good of a person. She said, I met mine and he was a preacher. See, listen, look at Sarah. A narcissism. They're doctors, lawyers, preachers. Come on here, mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters. You name them, they're everywhere. White House, you name them. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And like Red was saying earlier, they seem to be more prevalent. And they're coming out more because we're getting wiser. We're actually making their job harder. So they go to the ignorant and the innocent. And that's why you see a lot of narcs with a lot of young people or a lot of older people who didn't get what they want in life. So they give up to the narcissist. And you got to remember that narcissist, boy, their magnet is off the chain, and their love bombing is off the chain. I mean, they love bomb you like nobody else because they're able to get inside you and reflect what's inside you and retract that, and then take that reflection and reflect it back in your life. And it look like it's coming from the narcissist. It look like the narcissist is really loving them. It look like the narcissist is really kind. But you give them a few days, all the masks fall off. That was not kindness. That was your kindness. And Sarah and Red said, I went to church here in Cleveland. Husband and a wife preacher were both narcs. She said, and I had a dream that the whole pulpit turned to salt. Wow. Well, you know what? It's two narcissists. They're fighting all the time. They never get along. Two narcissists never get along. So somebody in that church should wake up. If they got prophets in there, the prophet sees. The prophets are seer. They're the eyes of the spirit. And so don't get disillusioned because there is a church. Don't get disillusioned because they wear a robe. Don't get disillusioned with that. Satan was the anointed cherub that covered. He was deceptive and he can deceive. So going to church don't mean anything. She said, and the next thing I saw them on the news. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That sounds like a scandal. That sounds like a scandal. So check this out. The narcissists also do not attend to severe matters when you're going through trauma, when you're going through a storm, because he's rerouting your thoughts, retraining your mind, retraining your download in your memory banks, putting things in your mind that you're going to think about a year later, that you're going to think about 10 years later. So he attached that pain to moments because he knows those moments are reflective and you're going to reminisce on those moments. And during the time of reminiscing, when you should have joy, because they don't have joy, they're going to make sure you don't have joy. Because they don't have peace, they're going to make sure you don't have peace. And so listen to this. She said, I want justice and not revenge anymore. This is James. He said, karma. I hope could I hope I could see the result of destroying my life. Oh, it's going to happen. The Bible said, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. The church is the church is in your heart. Christ didn't say build a thing and stand in there once a week. Okay, now you're getting critical, Susan. Stop it. I'm a pastor, so don't talk like that. Don't talk like that. Give me some respect, daughter. Give me some respect. He didn't have to say don't build a place, but in order for Christians to meet, you need a church building. Just like in order for your job to meet, you need a place to meet. In order for college students to learn, you need a place for them to come. The church is the people, but the building is where we gather. So I don't want you to go there. Don't go there. Okay. All right. Susan, Sarah says, uh, when you're going through something, they turn around to themselves and make it about them. They do. They do. Um, in God's time, He will reveal. Absolutely. He will reveal. Let me tell you something. Many people think narcs get away. How do you get away when you need supply every day? You got to keep finding different supply. It's like a vampire. Some people blood is foul and they drink that foul blood. And this is red. She said, Mark, the hardening thing to accept is there is this type of evil out there. Absolutely. And then to think that we slept and ate with this sort of wickedness, that is a hard phantom. Oh my God. Ugh, it sure is. It sure is. And think, we were right there with them. Right there with them. Right there with them. And didn't pick up anything until the mask fell. But can you discern, like Data on Star Trek? He's an android. Can you discern an android? They got androids that bleed, that has bad breath in the morning. They're android. They can't feel, but they imitate all the feelings. It's like Siri. When Siri come on, you say, hello, Siri. She said hello and call your name. And then you ask her a question that she's programmed to answer. She can answer that question. But there's some emotion Siri can't answer. And you'll say something and she'll say, I don't have the answer to that, or I cannot answer that, or this is not part of my programming. And that's the way the narcissist is. Earth Harvester said, my testimony, Knock told me he felt sorry for that kid, his kid, because he wasn't going to be around. That is really low down. They're vampires siphoning your life force energy. Absolutely. Absolutely. She said, Red, you're so right. They are Judases and Cain. Yes, ma'am. All day long. Earth harvesters. That kid became a doctor and became, because the narc was not around. Narcs bring our fight. Ooh, that's good. Our fight back in God's timing. Yep. If you watch Star Wars, the Jedi Masters are empaths and they fight darkness. That is good. Yes, ma'am. Ted said, modern day real vampires. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, rather. She said, I am part of Hillsong Proclaimers. Yay! And she said, I have the most respect for the pastor and ministers in the church. Well, then shut your mouth, honey. Good. Thank you, Susan, for letting me know that. I just don't like talk when people say about the building. Church has, many pastors have made so many mistakes until they make my job harder. Because when you got pastors that love the sheep and love people from their heart, like I love you all. I love you all from my heart. Until 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm up on YouTube talking to you no matter how busy my day was. I'm up talking to you because I wanted to be with my YouTube family. You are my YouTube family. And I wanted to spend time with my YouTube family. And Mark says, I had our house blessed when we moved in. And a couple of months ago, the prayer warriors to me that when they left, it was still a bad spirit in my house. Mark, you got the power to get that out of there. Speak to her, get it out. She's no longer in there. Stop taking her calls because that's a spirit through the airways. That when you are answering a call, they are just as powerful telephonically as if they are physically there. Some narcissists met their a specimen over the Facebook, uh, and they called each other, they text each other, and they never met. And that person is just as committed to them as you all are. And you had physical touch, physical presence, and they have to go through the same healing as those who was physically with the narcissist, because the narcissist will have them do sexual connotations to make up for not being physically there. She said, I feel kind of bad for trying to see the good in people. He hated that. And I had people that love me. You still got people that love you a lot. Tiffany, how are you? She said, good morning, still no contact and healing with God's grace every day. Thank you for your guidance and videos. It is always an honor and a pleasure of me and Dr. Brian to come and serve you and to honor you and to love you. You all are blessing. She said, Mark, now what does that tell you? Absolutely. That is a demon spirit. Those are demons. That don't mean they don't look good. They don't smell good. They don't make love good. They don't talk good. You know, they do all of that. And when they practice this and hurting people, they just get good at what they do, and they're good at hurting you. They're good at hurting you. They're good at trapping you. You don't want to be trapped. Absolutely. If there's a bad spirit in that house after that, that should tell you something. Yes, she called me. Oh, this is Mark. She called me again on Sunday and Monday, and I didn't answer. And she left a message for me to call. Don't call her. Yeah, there are no coincidences. Absolutely. There are only divine appointments and acknowledgement. She said they are shift shapers. Yeah, they are. They are. When you meet a narcissist, you will never, ever be the same. You will never think the same. Your life, even when you get over them, when you get over, and this is constant maintenance. You have to constantly maintenance like a drug addict. Because remember, this was an addiction. This wasn't just an affair. This was actually an addiction that affected your body. Some people that are around narcissists, they are so sick. I know people who are sick and the doctors can't find nothing wrong with them. They're sick, they're losing weight, they're losing their job, they're losing their hair because of the narcissist. She said, yeah, Mark, block her butt for good. Amen. I would, because Mark, you really tormenting yourself by keep talking to her. She said, yes, I had panic attacks. And see, we want to get you away from those panic. Are you still having them, or did you just have them then? Because there was someone on here still having panic attacks, right? Still having them. Yes, I left over 30 years ago and still once in a while find myself having flashback to that terrible time. Absolutely. 30 years ago. Wow. That's a long time. That's a long time. But just think about it. With a regular relationship, every now and then you may think of your boyfriend or a song you may hear that reminds you of them. So after 30 years, she said every now and then she still remember that time. She said, and I don't have them anymore. Oh, okay, good. You got over that fear and those panic attacks. A narcissist is not a healthy relationship, no matter how we look at it. And so when you have a narcissist that is not there at the most tremendous time of your life, that is a cue to you. He don't care for you. And usually when they're not there, they take your moment that you're going through and they triangulate somebody and use that moment to tell you they got to get themselves together. They're tired, they're burnt out. They're not tired and burnt out. They're triangulating somebody. And so now that you're going through your pain, they discard you, leave you to your pain. And then when they think you coming around and they want to discard the fuel because the mass is coming out and they're asking too many questions, then they come around and they hoover you. She said, Shake the Foundation says, since I have been watching your YouTube, I've been thinking about my childhood. My father was abused to my mother for 13 years until she finally left. He abused so bad, think he was a narc, possibly could have been. And here she said, I pray more and read my Bible often. And that's why you get more light. You'll get more light. You'll get more discernment. You'll get more truth, and you'll get more understanding. And Tiffany say, no contact brings so much peace to be able to heal that you have to stay no contact. Emotions are calm with no contact. If you break the no contact, you have no peace, no emotional moments. They trigger. Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's this message. Okay, that's YouTube. YouTube said they are going to review this program. All right, we'll let them review this program. Hopefully it'll be approved. Think of Ray Charles going through heroin withdrawal. This is exactly what it's like going through narc withdrawal. Absolutely same. Going through it, it's the same. It's the same. And it's terrible. No contact brings so much peace to be able to heal you and stay no contact. This is the statement that YouTube said they want to. You know what? Because you used the word trigger, they thought you was talking about a gun. Oh my God. So they are listening to our conversation. Oh, wow. And hello, Terivia, how are you? She said, my good day, ma'am. She said, my left last June, and still I'm going through some things that he has done while he was hers. I'm having a hard time going over what he did to me, and it's like the worst thing. Oh, I know. It's going to take time. That's why we're here. We are here to make sure you get through this. It is not an easy travel road, but you will get through this. You will overthrow this. It hurts now, but the pain is going to turn into a ministry. It's going to turn into a humanitarian act where you can assist others with their pain. So your pain is not useless or wasteful. It's difficult, but it will be used. She said the narc started the devaluation after I found out I was pregnant. It became worse and worse. And he asked me, this is beauty within, and he asked me to marry him. 30 days later, he took it back. Oh my God. This is Earth Harvester. She said, healing is slow. Sometimes it's zigzag. Just go forward. Yep, keep going forward. And Mark said, now that I know why, when I tried to pray with her before we left home to go to work in the morning, she used to get mad and make gestures and act like she didn't have time. And that evil spirit was giving me fits. Mark, I think you're gaining ground. That's the first time you talk like that. I think you're getting strong, everybody. I think Mark is getting some strength. So that lets you know this program is working Absolutely, Mark. It is working, and I loose the anointing for you to keep what you got off off this YouTube, because it is awesome. It is awesome. uh, New Covenant broadcast. I believe the narcs are full of Jezebel spirit, absolutely carrying it. They know how to do it. They know how to do it. That controlling spirit does not stop. Wow. This is really tremendous. You guys are really awesome. And just, do you know how much pain is on this scope? You know how many people are going through? You know how much anger had to be overcome, how much pain had to be overcome, suicide attempt, panic attack, frustration, anxiety. All of this had to come, sadness, fears. Think of all these things had to come, pitying yourself, devaluing yourself, abandonment. All of this on the scope had to be overcome. So just think of that. So we got all of this power on this YouTube. Tell me what we can't do with all of us here. Tell me what we cannot produce with all of us here. We can do it. Teravia says here, she said, no, it is not because I've been through this most of my life with my mom. And when you put a narcissistic person along with being raped by that person, that's a whole different kind of animal, man. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And there's people on here, Teravia, that can absolutely identify with what you're saying. And see, you're free. Some of them are not free yet. They're still planning their way out. A book, Broken Open by Elizabeth Lesser, is a great read. Got to check that out. Thank you. I got to check that out. So we are talking about this all stem off of the narcissist not being there at a time that you need them most. They just disappear. They discard you and they leave for you to handle whatever trauma that you're going through, that you handle it by yourself. That's what the narcissist does. And you and a lot of people forgive them and go right back, because their stories and their lives sometimes are so amazing, but they're all lies. Harvester said they created, they're brilliant at it. And Teravia said, I want to clear up one thing. I believe both my parents are narcissistic. My dad just died. None left. Oh, she said, my dad just died. None left with one narcissist. Okay, she said, okay, you left with one narcissist, and I don't want to be with my mom. If not about them, they are not interested. Absolutely. Teravia, it is not easy to grow up with narcissistic parents, because you are just in the midst of trauma when everything is about them. And God is a deliverer and a stronghold in the day of trouble. And so, are you an adult living with your mom, or a teen living with your mom? Red said also, Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz. All right. And Susan said, our pastor, Tom Rawls, wrote a book, Unseen, about the spirit battle. Okay. And then Terry said, I cannot even get sick without them becoming sicker. And Beauty Within say, the narc had new supply a month after he discarded me. Now he's going to ask her to marry him. Sometime I think he changed for the new person. He didn't change for the new person. He had the new person while he was with you. She said they wore different masks. Absolutely. He was triangling you. So if that marriage came back that quick, he had them before. And marrying don't mean anything. He can marry her and she can get discarded the week after they get married. He's going to always find a new supply. He's going to always find a new supply. Marriage will not stop him from finding a new supply. Most narcs that people are hurt by belong to somebody else. There's somebody else's husband, and they got 1,000 women that love him, and he's married to a woman, and she got all these other women in love with her husband, but he's in love with nobody, including the wife, because he's narcissistic. He don't care about her. He don't love her. He only mirror those emotions. And probably what is happening, she is a great fuel tank, a great fuel tank, and he's getting that fuel. But after a while, getting the same fuel, she gonna get devaluated no matter what, because you get the same fuel, he gonna get tired of the same fuel, and then the process of narcissism gonna require him to do it because he just can't love bomb her. He needs the pain. So when she get with him about 3 months in, I mean, they can love bomb you to about 3 months. I mean, you everything. Then after a while, you go through a devaluation. Totally impossible. They're not going to, there's no love in that marriage. Absolutely no love. So don't be moved just because he married somebody. He married who he wants to. It's another act for him. It's another situation for him. It's not love for him. It's not love for him. Amen. Wow. She said, I am very angry at my. She seemed happy. She's older, established, no young children. He just getting what he want out of her. Beauty within, there's that happiness is an emotion. He's not happy. And Taravia said, I'm very angry at my narcissistic ex because he took everything I had away from me. Whoever made me happy, by the time he left, he threw it away in the trash. And I cannot get over that. You can get over all things. It hurts, but you can get over, because if you don't, you're going to give him too much control. She said they've been together for a year and our baby isn't even 2. He was triangling you. He had that supply when he had you, and he probably got somebody with her. Just because they have a baby act happy don't mean that he's happy. Once you learn what the narcissist is, you'll learn that the narcissist cannot be happy. They're few satisfied. She said, I could testify that Jezebel's spirit would make you sick, and it's almost took me out of here. And the only reason why the guy left is because God got in the middle of it. And see, that's a blessing. She's an earth harvesters. They will triangulate you even 30 years later. Wow. This is why they are they continually devaluate you. They have to. When they devalue you, it's the setup, because it takes energy. Devaluation takes a lot of energy. If anybody went through devaluation, that negativity, blame game, it takes a lot to devaluate you. That's why they got to get their energy together and they start triangling. Usually when they meet you, they are already meeting the secondary source. She's a beauty within. He is going to use her, suck her dry, split her bones out. Wow, split her bones out and go to the next. They are empty, unsettled being. Ooh, boy, this girl right here is merciless, isn't she? And that's exactly what they're going to do, though. It's exactly because they are repetitious. They don't have anything new. Taravia says, I am 52 years old and I had to get away from my mother. And now I know why, because she needs to provoke me into fights and with her and call the cops on me. Wow, that's terrible. That's terrible. But what she's getting, all of that is not so she can just call the cops. All of that is fuel. That's negative fuel. And that's high level fuel. That's high level fuel. And that's why she's getting you angry so she can call the cops, because those are still emotions. Those emotions are playing out. Okay, let me see. Okay, call the cops. All right. We definitely got somebody in YouTube listening to our conversation. She said, okay, he is not with a religious not sister. Okay. The new supply thinks she has it, you see, controlled because she's much older. And I want her to be careful. She lies in my face. Then don't warn her. Let her go through three months. You don't have to tell her nothing. She gonna just be devaluated and discarded. It seemed like the last 5 years, everyone around me has the Jezebel. Mm. She said, and I had the most problem in church. I ran into the spirit. I ran into the spiritual narcissist. Okay, well, you can meet them anywhere. You can meet them in church. You can meet them at the restaurant. They're everywhere supply is. You got supply. There's a narcissist there. He don't care about church. He don't care about God. A narcissist don't care about God. He wants to be God. If the narcissist could get God to bow, he would, and he can't. He don't care about God. He's demonic. And that's why God is warning us, letting us know that this narcissist is devilish. He's demonic. He's demonic. He's sick. Amen. Well, my fam, I'm gonna have to go until next time. I don't usually do shows and tapings on Monday, but I miss my fam. And when I'm not available, I travel a lot, going out of the country, getting ready to go to South Africa. In August, had an invitation to go to Kenya, but I won't be able to go to Kenya because I'm going to South Africa, and both of them are the same dates. Got an invitation to go to Nigeria, so I look forward to that. But I'm telling you, God is awesome, and I know God is faithful. And who do we have here? Um, She says here, well, somebody needs to tell my narcissist wife that he does not love her, and she will argue you down that you are lying. Why? Thank you. Blessings to you, Apostle. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Amen. I love you, beauty within. The narcissist cannot love because he's a narcissist. Teravia, go on YouTube, go under Dr. Carmen Bryan, CarmenBryant. Look at some of her videos and look at some of my videos, and they are loaded with answers, and you will be blessed. Amen. Amen. Breath of life, and thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Dachel. All right. I am going now. I love you so much. Meet me here tomorrow and let's talk. Let's talk again on tomorrow. Hugs and kisses to everybody. I'm Helen Sadler, your destiny helper, and I'm looking to see you on tomorrow. God bless you. Good morning. Amen. Everybody is thanking and good night. Good night, everyone.